Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's watch party for Wes Craven's New Nightmare. As always, I'm Andrew, and I'm joined by Dom. Welcome, Dom.
Hello, everybody. Happy to be here again.
Why can I not hear you, Dom?
I don't know. Can anyone else hear me?
With my headphones disconnected or something? Let me have a look here. I do apologise, everybody. I was literally just talking to Dom a second ago. No, my headphones are connected.
I can hear Dom. See? Everyone can hear me.
I can hear you now. Yes, I can hear you now. That's in the back-end software, I've muted you by accident. I'm a
I see how
genius.
it is.
Yeah. A technical genius. There we go. You guys could hear it was on my end. There we go. Thank you. Okay, so let's do the roll call. So quickly, the sync point for the movie today will be where it says, let me re-upload it to the Discord community. It will be this bit here, where it says New Line Cinema, a Time Warner company. Well, that's a snapshot of history there anyway. So while you're getting there, let's do our roll call of our friends on YouTube and Discord. Starting with our YouTube gang, we've got Wicked Little Leo, who says, one of my absolute favourite movies. We've got Pepjin saying, hi. Hi, Pepjin. James Hellier saying, good evening, Extro fans. Hell if I know, saying, how sweet fresh meat. Anthony Glasses, welcome. Horror fan. And Andrew Macaulay, you can hear me. Yeah, that's my fault. I'm an idiot. And Anthony Glasses said hello, but welcome again. Okay, now let's have a look at our friends over on Discord. I can see Edward the Black Prince has returned to us. Welcome, Edward. Lizard Man, Sharon Calbot, Phonic, Mr. Furzel, Lizard Man, Chaosphere, Mad Matt, Brainwire, Jedi Wizard, Eric. I think I said Phonic already. Let's go through. Fleeru, welcome. ENIAC. Okay, so this movie. Dom, when did you first see it?
Honestly, I think I saw this fairly early in my Freddy career. I think I saw this before I saw several other Freddy movies. My box set was missing a few Freddy films, unfortunately, but I did manage to get this rented from my local Apollo movie rental place. It's one of those movies that I hold above quite a few Freddy films. It's one of the upper echelon Freddy movies, in my opinion, despite the fact that arguably Freddy's not really in it. Really.
It's quite interesting to get into that. And I just want to say welcome to Amanda Dixon over on YouTube, who's a massive horror fan. Welcome. I saw this on a date. We've got quite a bit of credits to get through. Let's get the movie going, and we'll carry on discussing our love of this movie. So everybody, on the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, press play. There we go. There we go. It's a very interesting film. I saw this on a date as a teenager, and it's actually the first Freddy movie I saw in the cinema.
Ooh.
But also, this movie is meta, but it's also it's so aware. And I think it's really interesting that the last Freddy film, of course, we did. Welcome, Tara. You rented it from Blockbuster. There we go. Yes, James, it's meta before Scream. I think it's very interesting, of course. This is the follow-up Freddy film, the follow-up we're doing to Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. This is almost an antidote, or they realised how far they went with Freddy's Dead. It's putting things back a bit, basically giving Freddy some teeth back.
And there's Wes himself, cameoing in his own film.
As himself. It's very, very... Oh, Andrew Macaulay, will there ever be another Nightmare on Elm Street is the big question. I would hope so, but I don't know. I don't know where they'd go with it.
I think it's an inevitability. In the Freddy franchise, the more Freddy's name is spoken, the more power he has, the more studios desperately want to milk that power.
No. Welcome Mooncake over on Discord saying this was my first Freddy movie. Calbot says, interestingly, my wife went to 4, 5 and Freddy's Dead with me on dates, but once we were married, she wouldn't watch them anymore. She got what she wanted.
That's it.
And that's right, James Hellier over on YouTube, that Wes Craven was never a fan of any of the Nightmare sequels. Did I like the remake? I'm going to hold my hand up. I've never watched it deliberately.
Likewise. Never watched it. I had horrible suspicions that it wasn't going to be good. Yeah. And I don't think I've missed out on anything.
Exactly. Edward Blackprint says it sucks, and that's what I heard off a few people. Yeah, Anthony Glass says Dream Warriors was my first one and your personal favourite. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, Dream Warriors is my favourite as well. It's the the peak Freddy.
You see, I think I'm along with our good friend Carla, that I like Dream Warriors, but I prefer Dream Master.
Our timestamp, Sharon, is around the 3:20 mark, 3 minutes 20.
Tarara says, first Freddy movie was number 6 and wore those damn 3D glasses through the whole of the movie for just 5 minutes of footage at the end. Well, James Helly says, I had you both down as Freddy versus Jason, guys.
I do like Freddy versus Jason.
I do.
That was the first Freddy movie I saw in the cinema because I'm a child.
This is kind of just very spooky and weird and like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I would say that Miko Hughes' parents, when you consider who he plays in this film, and also he played Gage in the original Pet Sematary.
Yeah.
Horror fan says, okay, so Amanda Dixon says, I thought the remake was watchable, but you can't get better than the original Robert Englund. And Horror fan says, I liked the remake, but I was kind of disappointed with this one as a kid. Dream Child, I think was my favourite. Dream Warriors, fan most as a kid. I bought a bootleg Freddy vs. Jason. California. Most expensive real estate in the world built on a fault line. Gotta love that idea.
I'm going to have beachfront property soon. See, I wonder if the others can hear you Eldritch typing as well, or if it's just me.
Yeah. I'm thankful I live in a place... The UK, Dom, as cold as it gets here, you can appreciate this. We have quite normalised things here. We don't tend to... I mean...
Nothing ever happens. No real... The earthquakes are, like, barely any trembles. The hurricanes are adorably pitiful. The cold... The floods. We flood. There you go. The UK floods.
Yeah, it floods.
Quake Watch. They actually used footage of a recent quake for that, didn't they?
I believe they did. Oh, Mooncake says that tremors gave them nightmares, kept imagining them popping up next to the bed.
Yeah. I mean, that's the one thing that we Nevadans have here. We have the graboids.
You have graboids. That's right. When your child is not eating his nutritious breakfast, take it off him and tell him to go get dressed.
Yep. Always worked with me. Do you have a Fangorium t-shirt? I'm jealous. Gib.
Yes, James. Yeah, the UK is not cold. It's Dom, has anyone noticed when you've been... Of course, it's quite warm where you live now. Has anyone ever noticed...
It's freezing.
Okay, at the moment. But has anyone ever noticed your Britishness? When it's... I don't know, hang on. Let me convert it.
Oh, it's a freedom units.
Yeah. When it's 68 degrees or 20 degrees in proper temperatures, there, and you're walking around in shorts and t-shirts, and people are in there in hoodies and thick coats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That always happens whenever it gets slightly chilly here in Vegas, and I'm walking around with a jacket, admittedly, but the jacket's open, and then there's people bundled up shivering, saying like, "It's so cold," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's fine."
I tell you what, we definitely had more back in the 90s. Our houses were a lot more cluttered, weren't they?
Yes, but the good thing about having cluttered houses in the 90s, when you have earthquakes that ruin landmark structures, it just kind of bothers your household. It knocks a pillow over, and a couple of your perfumes, your port homs are tipped over gently.
Tarara saying, I moved from Northern Ireland to Pennsylvania and I've never known cold like it. We had minus 23 C last month. I spent Christmas one year in Traverse City, Michigan, which is on the Great Lakes, and I know what cold's like there, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I moved to Vegas. I tried to escape the cold. But the cold came with me. It's interesting. This part of the film, it's being shot like a romance movie. The way that the scenes are composed, the way that the camera is... I was about to say like a soap opera, but it's not stationary. It doesn't have that look about it. But it has a Twin Peaksy feel to it, which I can appreciate.
Wicked Little Leo says, I'm also in Pennsylvania. We're no strangers to actually freezing our faces off.
It could just be the 90s that's making me think of Twin Peaks, to be fair.
Yeah.
Where jeans were up to your chest, shoulder pads were the norm. Colours were very pale.
Okay.
Californian built homes, man, they tear apart like tissue paper.
Welcome, Christopher Santiago, over on YouTube. I love the robotic and bone/flesh Freddy gloves in this. And Shattered Trousers, welcome. Hello, glad to actually make it to one of these. We're glad to have you here, my friend.
That's usually what I do when my mum turned my TV off.
That's a bit of a weird way to turn the TV off, rather than just taking the remote or pressing the power button, yanking the cable out the wall.
It's the only way to stop those Nintendos, Andrew. You gotta stop your kids from having them Nintendos. Oh, look! That's kind of a foreshadowing of the Scream franchise.
It really is.
How did he redial so quickly?
That's right. Run out the house and leave your little boy there. Edward, the Black Prince, says, honestly, I was for Freddy taking this kid. Yeah, only thing I would have done a little differently, and again, I'm not knocking the film, if I was trying to simulate an earthquake, I wouldn't have left those two oranges sitting perfectly stationary on the floor behind them.
I will have the broom propped up precariously as though it should have fell and then didn't.
Yes.
Now, to shake the camera, it's fine. It's the old Star Trek method.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so 90s.
But she looks like a Freddy victim from the series, doesn't she?
She does. A fever? I thought he had a cut. Well, I stand by what I said. Leave us alone, you son of a bitch.
Yes.
Come on, Heather, get your kicks on. I love how it's definitely playing with the audience expectations. It's not pretending that the audience has no idea what's happening. Got to appreciate a film that respects its audience. I mean, it is what, the 9th movie in the franchise? But at the same time, it's not.
7th, this is.
7th, there you go.
Actually, Sharon, sorry, I was just quite curious about what you were saying there. This was before Caller ID. Caller ID was introduced in America, basically nationally. It finished, you could get it everywhere by 1989. So you would imagine a celebrity would have Caller ID on their phone.
Oh, wow.
No, James, we've not done Deadly Blessing or Hills of Eyes Part 2 yet, but we'll consider them.
The stairwell with the green pastel crayon-looking thing underneath it.
Oh, Lizardman says, "Greetings, friend. Do you wish you could be as happy as me?" I wrote the number for 911 on the fridge too, just in case you need it.
Just in case you need it. Quick, does anyone know the number to 911? What is so funny that it has this driver keeling over, cackling like he's in a sitcom.
He's realised how much it's costing him to make that call on the Motorola StarTAC.
When he's breaking down in hysterics.
Yeah. Exactly, Shattered Trousers. That's a really good point. The way this film respects its audience, uses their expectations against them, is a big part of what makes this the prototype for the Scream franchise. Yeah, certainly. That there's quite a big connection from this to sort of Scream, that kind of breaking the barriers and playing with expectations.
But, exactly, James. Wes Craven was an intelligent guy like Toby Hooper.
Yeah. But just to say to everyone, we will be doing Scream this year. The original Scream.
I mean, Wes pretty much revitalized the horror industry twice in his lifetime.
Oh. We've got a request off... I've just had a request from Bossman Robin Block. Can we do Exorcist Part 3?
Oh,
okay, I'll
yes.
put that to the community. Would you like us to do Exorcist Part 3 at some point?
Can I vote? I vote yes.
Oh. Okay. Then Exorcist 3 shall be done.
Yay.
And now this is what we saw where they were going a bit too far with Freddy in the last movie.
Yeah. Fun fact, this is exactly how Robert Englund approached us to be in Search of some Darkness Part 2.
Exactly, we had to ask him to take the Freddy makeup off.
He clawed his way into Robert's house and said, "Can I be in your movie?"
Yes, exactly.
Both Robert and Heather, absolute gentlemen and professional phenomenal people, amazing stories, and it's weird seeing them be interviewed here, knowing we've interviewed them.
Yes, it really is. But even this goes back to something we touched on with the last watch party. There you go, and you're seeing it. Kids dressed in children's Freddy outfits. Exactly. It seems so normal for us to see, Shan saying, it seems so normal for us to see kids wearing the sweater and clothes. It's odd to know just how Freddy is. Yeah, it's basically you are having kids dress up as a serial killer paedophile. Exactly, Edward. Freddy, the most beloved child murderer ever.
Kids love him.
I can tell you something. That certainly is not a call made through an analog cell phone of that era, because my father had several of them, and it was a challenge to make a call. I would probably say so, Eric. Is Nightmare on Elm Street the horror movie with the most merchandise? Quite possibly. Not maybe in the UK so much, but in the States, I believe in its prime, it was. What we'll do is I will speak to our director, David Weiner, who collects a lot of this pop culture merch. I bet he's got some Freddy stuff somewhere.
Child's Play also has a lot of merch. Halloween also has a lot of merch.
Yeah, true. Hang on, I'm a secretary. I'm not a cafetiere.
Yeah, exactly. Not a barista.
Yeah.
He looks like Neil Breen.
He's the real man. I believe it was the real New Line offices. Oh, okay, horror fan. What most merchandise? In Search of Darkness. There you go. Oh, welcome, Thomas Hetzel. Shattered Trousers saying this version of Freddy is very similar to Candyman. The demon draws its strength from worship, adoration, belief, and attention. On a meta level, both speak to the power that stories have over people. Yeah.
Never thought I'd identify with Candyman and the creature in this film as something that sustains themselves alone on attention and spooky stories that kids tell each other. I do like the pop art Freddy poster in the back there.
Thomas, you need your own copy of Wes Craven's New Nightmare to watch along with us. We can't stream movies on YouTube, unfortunately. And we are approximately 20 minutes and 40 seconds in at the moment. I don't know, Bob.
And James, to answer your question, no, I do not. My wife, the only thing she's terrified of is the Chucky franchise.
But exactly, Lizardman New Lines, The House of Freddy. But the only thing about the Child's Play movies is, you'll appreciate this, Dom, being in the UK, they have somewhat of a bad taste in the UK due to the alleged connection between, with the sequels, with the child murder.
Yeah.
Which is its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
But how would they bring Nancy back in the films?
I have no idea. Reincarnation?
I think actually
Twin
Nancy.
sister?
I think the idea was Nancy was supposed to be like when she died. One of the deleted plot threads from Elm Street 3 was Nancy was to become like a dream angel, like a good version of Freddy.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah. Oh, look, the suspension on that
Limo.
the suspension on the limo looks nauseating, doesn't it?
Mhm.
Like being driven around in a boat.
He's doing his Arnie impression in there.
Horror fan says, I just watched this horror convention walkthrough on YouTube. Saw Nancy, it was cool. Yep. Heather is, well, she's an In Search of Darkness alumni.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to say that Miko Hughes is the creepiest child of the 80s/90s.
Poor kid.
He is the... We need a creepy child actor. Who are we going to go to? Miko Hughes.
We're going to sew Rex back up and he'll be fine.
That's right. Who doesn't love Rex? Yeah, James, the Chucky TV series is quite good.
I've heard it's good.
The bits I've seen, I did enjoy. That is a very cool... Hang on, so... They're supposed to be making another Freddy movie at the moment. But this is the Freddy... This would be the follow-up to Freddy's Dead in that kind of timeline. And it is cool, kind of the bone gauntlet thing. I wonder how much of this was maybe alternative, unused, designs and stuff.
Whether they were hoping to make another Freddy movie, but...
Yeah. But Mad Matt says, I kept waiting for Freddy versus Rex, but this movie did not deliver. Yeah, you wouldn't have messed with James Hellier at school. James, you wouldn't have messed with Miko Hughes at your school. I wouldn't mess with James either, to be honest.
It's so intimidating, the music, but it's just...
It is quite a slow burner in the build-up, isn't it? This film.
Well, it's playing with expectations, like it was discussed earlier on. It's playing with the idea that the audience knows exactly what's going to happen. They're just saying, when's Freddy going to come back?
Exactly. I remember when I watched it, I was a bit like, I went into this not knowing very much and was... It took a while. Oh, the claws disappeared.
It was an awesome claw. I would not have that lamp if I was that kid.
Nightlight.
That's nightmare fuel. No, the nightlight's fine. It's the lamp, the Humpty Dumpty lamp that's terrifying.
Can I ask Americans a question? What is it about having curtains and blinds in your bedrooms that don't properly close? Dom, you'll appreciate this as a Brit.
Yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying.
Why? Quite frankly, I wouldn't sleep in I would struggle to sleep in a room that I could not properly shut the blinds or curtains on. Sharon says, decoration, nothing more. Yeah. Because that pool isn't going to seem at all creepy to the child outside, is it? When he's...
Nah.
That moonlight is reflecting off it.
Oh God, Lizard Man, how could you? Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty is watching after sleep falls.
Yes, Eric, it is a real thing in the States. And I can put Dom into even more trauma. We're not going to get into why American toilets, the water level is so much higher than the UK.
Oh yeah, it's concerning.
It's like, I need to get back to the movie, but I remember the first time I was in the States, I was like, I think something wrong with your toilet. The water
It's
level's
about
really...
to flood, yeah.
Yeah, it's really high. It's an industrial lantern he's got. I suppose if you live in an earthquake area, you do make sure that there are flashlights everywhere.
It's not a 90s film if the kid doesn't... That's a terrible sewing job. Like, the stuff's poking out still. But yeah, kids, they love their dinosaurs in the 90s.
They did. Of course, this would have been 1 year after Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Shattered trousers. US toilets show you everything in widescreen. It's true, Edward. He does seem to have the gates of hell at the bottom of his bed.
Which child didn't have the gates of hell at the bottom of their bed? That's why we need our nightlights to keep them away.
The only thing I am noticing about this film, which is quite implausible for the time, the child has generic everything in his room. There is no branded He-Man, Power Rangers,
Jurassic Park, Star Wars,
anything that would require a merchandising deal. He has dinosaur bedding. I like dinosaur bedding with dinosaurs on it.
Well, that's because he's asking for a Freddy doll and a Freddy t-shirt. But Mom won't give it to him.
Yeah.
Nothing scares me more than a guy dropping off while they drive.
Yep. I've actually had it before, but I did have the good sense to pull over at the next services and take a rest. Yeah, Mr. Fursla, I did that when I was falling asleep. I slapped myself in the face. Bit myself in the cheek. Don't recommend it. Not for a long time. Calbot said his parents spent all the money on the house. They can't afford designer toys.
Sorry, Timmy, Sorry, Dylan, you need generic wallpaper. We can't get you the Star Wars one.
That's right. You can have Space Wars instead.
Space Battles, the wallpaper.
Yeah.
Why are we having so many close-ups of this man's crotch?
Because Freddy's going to...
Oh, generic crashing noises. I'm scared now, kid. You walked in and creeped out the whole room.
Look, I've had enough of this Rex crap.
We're getting rid of Rex.
Yeah. She can hear the doorbell ring, but she's looking around the house.
Yeah, I mean, when you have several front doors, because your house is so huge, you need to figure out which one rang the bell.
Yeah. James Ellie says, can I have pet cemetery bedding? No, you'll have He-Man, and damn well like it, young man. That's true, Sharon. No one wants to open the door at night to police officers.
No. He stabbed himself in the chest and crashed while sleeping.
Would the police not have the good decency to ask maybe come in, sit you down and break the news to you gently rather than it be like, yeah, we got a message, your husband's dead, see you later, love?
It's the LAPD.
Yeah, that's true. That's what I thought, Sharon. They would at least have the decency to sit you down rather than it be like, okay, we're on to the next house to tell you someone's dead.
We have 15 other houses to visit tonight. You wouldn't. I can't get you for a twofer, can I? You don't happen to know Jimmy Crockett, who lived down the lane as well? No. If you could identify him as well, that'd be grand.
Yeah, just leave the cadavers outside.
That's what I always did. To get back to my electrical saw whirring.
Yes. I thought you were going to start looking at the toe tags for a second. Just
right? Just no, not you. No, not you.
Would there not be like a receptionist or something rather than walking? Excuse me.
Let me just dust off my sandwich dust hands.
It's like, why are they more concerned about one cadaver than another in the way they're treating them with like, yeah, it's a production line, which I guess possibly they do become insensitive to.
Yeah.
It's like, Sharon, you didn't know morgues open the book. She just, it's visiting hours.
Yeah, of course. We do tours. The smell of blood adds flavour to the sandwich. Now you just got to dip it. You forgot your sandwich dip.
On the subject of Pet Cemetery bedding, Shattered Trousers says, sometimes bed is better. Oh, that's a pun.
Sometimes bed is better.
More, please. I wish to see more of my husband's dead, naked body.
He
Lovely.
warned you?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. The LAPD weren't like this in Dragnet or TJ Hooker.
Where have I seen that actor? Where have I seen you? With a mustache. Oh god, this is going to drive me absolutely insane. I need to find your name.
Let's have a look.
Oh. Was he in Deadwood? Is that... Because I'm picturing cowboy aesthetic.
He was in Deadwood, Sharon says.
There we go. Yeah.
If you just sign for your dead husband, we'll pop him in a bag and you can take him home with you. Honestly.
You're not my child. Where's my child? Wait, is he? Oh my god, he looks so different.
He does look very different. We got some cameos here from Tuesday night. Is here.
Oh.
Where's Craven's there?
Yeah.
And a very creepy looking man sat by the coffin.
Rocking to himself.
Yeah.
Ah, yes, the generic cracking noises.
Well, they got it in the hole in the end.
Yep, the guy who's descending the coffin's like, well, my job's done.
Yeah. It got in the hole in the end. That's
I'd say
right,
it's about
Sharon.
4 out of 10, but it's in.
Yeah, that's the thing, Sharon. A small earthquake now topples all the cemetery statues. I mean, you'd be thinking with how many earthquakes they have in California that they'd have someone employed permanently to set the statues back up in the cemetery.
Yeah, you'd think.
Oh, Mad Matt has posted a picture of Willie from V, played by Robert Englund. And I've got some news for everybody. In September, we are watching V, The Final Battle, all 3 parts of it, so stay tuned for that.
The man, the myth, the legend.
James is saying the LAPD weren't in... I thought, James, it was LAPD for a while in TJ, and then it moved to Chicago for some reason, then back to LA or something. With no more earthquakes.
Now get the hell out of my cemetery.
Yeah.
I'm tired of looking at y'all. Leave. Especially that creepy kid.
I find young kids like that dressed almost in adult clothes really disturbing.
Yeah.
Like toddlers in suits, I find it really unnerving for some reason. I know it's maybe a weird thing, but yeah. Yeah, but Lizard Man but what's the priest telling everyone to drive safe? Is that not a little raw for the cause of this guy's alleged death?
Drive safe. Not like this guy, eh?
Yeah.
I'm here all week.
I'm not doing a 2 for 1.
Yeah. I'll have to charge extra if another one of you crashes. Oh, shit. Imagine that, getting roasted at your own funeral.
Yeah.
Can I pre-order that kind of service? Oh, that'd be great.
Maybe the vicar had a bit much communion wine. We
need the idea of evil.
As much as we're with this child actor, he's very good in this.
Yeah, he does, like, I'm terrified very well.
Yeah.
But yeah, he has all the creepy training he needed with Pet Sematary. That was freaky. It's his dead-eyed chanting. I mean, yeah, he probably did. He's had it on twice now.
Mm-hmm. Now, yeah, Sharon raises a good point. Why do you still have the TV there if Dylan can't stop watching it? I seem to remember in the 80s and 90s, late 80s, early 90s, there was a parental control thing for TVs, and it was basically like a lock that went over the plug.
Oh.
And it would basically, your parents would have a physical key that was required to be able to turn the TV on, because it would lock the plug off, basically.
Oh, I'm glad my parents didn't think of that. I wouldn't be the man I am today if they had thought of that. Oh, the TV was unplugged still. He's in that grave.
Thank you, James. TJ Hooker was set in a fictional Californian city and the LCPD. That's quite deep.
Now realizing I probably said all these things to my mum when my dad passed, and I'm like, ooh, sorry, mum. I put you in really sticky situations there.
Yeah.
Aw, that's quite wholesome.
You'll need my friend Alice for that.
Yeah, sorry.
Kirsten used to be able to. Yeah, it is quite sweet, Lizard Man, for them to be there for each other.
Mm.
But Sharon, yeah, she's remarkably well adjusted for having just buried her husband. Oh, you see, I couldn't sleep in a bed like that with lots of blankets on it.
I do like myself a load of blankets.
I don't like loads of blankets in a bed. I hate it. I like a duvet, and that's it.
Mm.
That's a rather disturbing. Is that a trash can topper? Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. I wouldn't put my hand in that. That's
No.
begging for a demon to grab you from within.
Do you think the location scouts, they say, right, we need a really creepy-looking children's play park, possibly for either a nightmare dream sequence or nuclear blast going off?
Don't worry, bro. I know exactly which one.
Yeah. In fact, I'm going to have a quick look on IMDb while we're watching this. In case
My
this
buddy
park...
Jimmy Cameos was down the road and filming at this exact place. I was about to ask, is he playing her dad in this? But no, he's playing himself, isn't he?
For now.
So in the 80s, we had cinema's mum in Dee Wallace, right? She exuded pure mum energy.
Yes.
Does he exude pure dad energy?
Not like friendly/good dad energy.
It's the dad I want to respect me energy, though.
I think the dad from movies in the 80s... Let's go for this. Which 80s movie dad would you have liked to have had? I think John Candy in either Summer Rental or Great Outdoors, for me. I don't think I'd want Clark Griswold. He's a bit too far.
Yeah. I was about to say, Clark Griswold wouldn't be a great dad.
Oh, his heart's in the right place, don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah, but he just messes up every single time.
Yeah. Yep, exactly as Uncle Buck as well, Mad Matt.
That's rather dangerous.
That seems horrendously dangerous. It's a play park.
Well, I mean, it does have demon trash cans as well. To be fair, that's the kind of stuff I'd do as a kid.
Dylan's fine in this.
Bone.
Dylan's fine in this precarious safety record play park you brought him to.
Zoom out and there's this obstacle course of like broken glass shards and upended nails. Praise me. I am the king of the children.
Yeah, exactly, Sharon. What's your kid?
Oh. You've ruined it, Mum.
Exactly. Who gave Dylan acid?
It's California. It's permeated throughout the air. Oh, it's wealthy California, should I say?
Yeah.
It's not
What I don't,
cocaine.
I kind of would have thought that by now they would have had. Ah, but I think we're seeing.
And-
Look, she's limping a bit, as if so she has hurt herself catching that child.
Mm.
Crazy child jumps off playground. Dangerous playground equipment. It's the headline.
Tom Bueller was suggested by one 80s dad fan page. Wait, 80s dad fan page? Are we at that point in civilization where we're idolizing dads?
Okay, that's. So she keeps
Why are
a
you
drawer full
collecting
of.
them?
She keeps a drawer full of the creepy Bible pages.
Well, you got to keep it next to the takeout menus, right? And the drawer that has all the cables that you will use someday, but you're not sure what they're for.
I'd put them in a jiffy bag held on the fridge with a magnet myself.
Oh yeah, okay. That's fair.
Yeah. In a Ziploc bag held with a magnet on the fridge. Yeah. What I will say to everyone watching, I know from our production team who met with Robert, he is an absolute sweetheart in real life, and he's basically one of the nicest people you will ever meet.
I love how she had to get louder for the for the mic for one, but poor Robert on the other end of the phone's probably like, "Ow! All right, why'd you start shouting at me?" I wonder how many of these places they shot in were just houses. Given
Yeah.
that the cameras are always free floating, again, like in Candyman, was that just something that happened in the 90s? People were tired of steady shots?
I think it was just a bit of a style, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, the trifecta of scary things for her child there. I just noticed a Schwinn child's tricycle on the lawn behind her.
The jungle gym behind her is really precarious as well. Gonna place that right in front of the door when Heather arrives.
Yeah. No. I'm going to place it in the bathroom. So on the back of the bathroom door. So when she goes in and locks herself in, she sees it.
Shattered trousers. If I were picking my 80s movie dad, can't go past Johnny Matrix from Commando.
Okay.
Okay, that's fair.
What could be more wholesome than having this nightmare fuel on your lawn when your child's trying to ride it around?
We need to come up with the ultimate 80s like TV/movie family. Dee Wallace is the mum. John Commando is the dad. We're gonna have Elliot from your favorite E.T. as a kid.
Exactly. They're talking about mixing and matching them.
Yeah.
I will say one thing. She's got remarkably few wrinkles on that undersheet, while the Freddy glove kind of.
That's an oddly very satisfying sound for me. Like that sound of like
It
cloth
is.
tearing. given the cool semi-biomechanical vibe of this glove, I do kind of wish they went totally crazy like the Jason franchise did and Freddy went to space. I want to see
Freddy in space.
Freddy in the 24th century fighting Buck Rogers or whatever. It'd be great.
Damn it, that's another sheet torn. I go through one
God, I keep doing this. That's why we couldn't populate Dylan's room with anything fancy, and my sheet budget's too high.
That's not disturbing at all.
It's fine.
James Helly saying Freddy versus Extro, Dom's ideal movie.
Oh, please, I can only be so excited. I might have a heart attack. Freddy in space meets Jason X and the Critters.
Yeah. Anthony Glass says a Freddy Space Odyssey. Well, yes, little boy, why have you... you're reciting a creepy nursery rhyme and you've got your hand behind your back. I'm sure it's something perfectly lovely.
Why didn't I think of doing that as a kid? Not cutting up my mum, but duct taping knives to my hands. You can't overpower a child.
Oh, no. It was a dream and...
That's fair. Freddy versus Mac and me. I'd be happy to see Freddy carve those abominations. That orange is still on the freaking floor. Those two oranges are still on the freaking floor.
Mad Matt says about Wolverine. What I would say was, as a kid, though, we did have these two huge kind of forks for lifting up like roast meat when you cook them, and you could put them between your hands. And I used to think I was Wolverine. So yeah.
What other anagrams could you make from that? I would have loved to see several variations. Oh. Oh.
Ugh.
Oh, that went from 0 to 100 so fast.
It really did. Welcome, the DJD. Freddy versus Scream.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Two wisecracking...
Yeah, exactly. Sharon says, I'm all in favour of not being an overprotective parent, but if my kid came at me with claws like that, it's over.
He is clocking with the right hook.
Yeah. Listen, man, well, we're going to have words with a phone company after this. Would you like to change your saliva provider? We have great rates. Hang on, the child was regurgitating the same kind of foamy saliva from the phone. Does that mean the child's been sort of drinking it out the phone for a while? Well, he has been watching my movie about a paedophile serial killer series franchise that was very popular. Shattered Trousers. I'm your long-distance carrier now, Nancy.
No! The true horror of changing your phone provider. The bureaucracy behind it is just mind-boggling.
Yeah.
That was
And we see a cameo from Lynn Shay there as a nurse who played a nurse in a Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
What merits of Mac and me, James Elliott? That's slander. He needs Raptor. Wait, no, this isn't a Rugrats movie. He needs generic Raptor, Rex. Discharge him then. Oh.
Yes.
I learned the powers of that as a kid. I was under the impression I wasn't allowed to leave a hospital until someone told me I could.
Mm-hmm.
Then I left, and it was great. I realized, hey, it's not a prison.
Exactly, Mad Matt. Why hasn't someone given Dylan a Coke yet?
And a Big Mac, yeah, it would have fixed everything.
Yeah, James says, "Take your creepy child home," the hospital said. Maybe Dylan was actually trying to, when he was on top of the thing, trying to do this with his hands and whistle.
This is the good shit. This is what we give to the
This is what we give to the
celebrity
crazy
kids.
Reminds me of Simpsons Flintstones chewable morphine.
Oh, I remember those friggin' things. The gates on the bed.
Yeah.
I'm looking at all the medical equipment in the back, and I'm just having nightmare Vietnam flashbacks to my time in UK hospitals.
Hang on, he's in the ICU.
It looks like it, yeah.
It says ICU on the window. It's a bit.
Attaboy, kid.
No. Yeah, no one will find
You
it
can
there.
sell it to your mates at school tomorrow. That's the enterprising young lad I know. God, thank God I'm finally rid of that kid.
Just take him to prison.
It looks like it, doesn't it?
Exactly, James. There'll be a hell of a hospital bill coming Heather's way. Okay, so the medication we gave your son, the cost to the hospital for the medication was 63 cents for the tablet. With our charges on top, $8,000.
Yeah, that's about right. That's about standard fees.
Yeah.
The administrative costs. What is it the Ticketmaster adds on as well? Like, weird gratuity. Remember to tip your nurses, lads.
She's really looking into the cup when she's driving. I don't drive alcohol, obviously, but if I drink a drink and I'm driving the car, I don't tend to gaze longingly into
your Dunkin' Donuts cup. You don't?
No.
You're enjoying half the experience there, Andrew. You really have to stare longingly into the liquid you're consuming.
We're out of time right now. These documentary people won't leave us alone.
Why does he sound so Shakespearean as he's delivering his answer phone message? Hi, you've reached the Englund residence. We're gonna be some time.
Yeah, gonna be some time. We're at the bar and we just ordered chicken wings, but there's backed up in the kitchen. It'll take a while. James Lilly says, without her Volvo, there'll be no way she'll survive a nuclear war.
That's true.
That seems really a bit... I know she's the help. It's like, coffee.
It's like he summoned the coffee out of sheer will alone.
Yeah.
I must learn your powers, Wes.
It's a very nice house, though, with that kind of infinity pool and...
Oh, yeah, but odd choice of statues that he has randomly scattered about the place. Then again, I'm not in those circles. This is probably very fashionable.
I thought that for a second, Edward, is that the robot from Metropolis? But looking at it, it doesn't quite appear to be. It appears to be some kind of generic alien.
Yeah.
I don't know, Shaun, if this really is his house or a set. Oh, Fraglord, welcome. You're saying you had a Volvo V50. I had a Volvo S40. Unfortunately, it was the worst car I ever owned, and I won't go into it.
He's going to space to fight Jason. Some weird goblinoid human in 2023 has decided to make this film and has somehow got funding from random investors.
In a film.
Yep. The Toll Man. Ah. It's just compelling at the moment. I'm trying to riff on it all the time.
It is compelling, but what I would say is Wes Craven was a great writer and director. His acting maybe wasn't...
No, you're correct. His acting is shaky at best.
Mm-hmm.
Here, let's walk through more of my home. Oh, I love seeing 90s PCs. Look at that grey box.
That's actually an 80s PC.
Oh god, that makes me feel even worse.
I like the fact just behind him we're seeing a cast photo from Nightmare on Elm Street.
And a lot of Stephen King books on the on the shelf.
Eric, he's not doing too bad, but I would say acting maybe. We can see why he wasn't primarily an actor.
He's doing absolutely fine, don't get me wrong.
Oh, Mad Matt. That's a pun.
Oh, God.
Okay, for the young amongst you, these things she's reading are called books. And we used to read them before we had access to the internet, instead of just Googling something and going down rabbit holes.
We'd get the exact book on the exact thing that we wanted to look at, including pediatric schizophrenia.
That's right. She went to the local Borders Books, it's that old, and said, "Excuse me, have you got any books on childhood schizophrenia? You want our pediatric psychology section?"
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, Shattered Trouser. Books are the internet printed out on slices of tree.
Mm-hmm. Physical, limited edition physical internet.
Freddy Krueger films.
I love that the graphic in the back was just a Freddy glove. I'm like, wow, they...
Yeah, at this point, I'd move away from California.
Yeah.
I'd sell my mansion in California and probably move somewhere like Texas, where you get like a mansion for about a quarter of the money you'd get and not have earthquakes, just Texas stuff.
Texas have their own problems, yeah. Like they can't handle winter.
Or move to Kansas instead, Mad Max. I don't know, the tornadoes might be substituting earthquakes for tornadoes.
What the trend at the moment is that people who want the California lifestyle and don't want to move very far just come to Vegas, which on one side of things, I can't really blame them given that's what I did. But I'm here now. I want to kick the ladder out from underneath me. Stay away, Californians. Leave it be. Yeah, there's only mutants to worry about, and they're fine. They live underground.
The Morlocks.
Yes, we just have to deal with the Morlocks. I used to think this was the best Freddy design, and now I'm looking at it. It's not as creepy as the original.
I've got to be honest. Do you know what I would really love as a thread in a direction they'd gone in this movie?
Go on.
Robert being arrested.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Peption says, I like the Netherlands. That's cool.
Got a friend who lives in the Netherlands. She enjoys it quite a lot as well.
Yeah, it's not the arm that she's wincing in pain from. She banged her knee on the floor or her elbow.
Yeah, it's the funny bone.
She's like, oh. Did she just come from a country music concert?
Hoedown.
Yeah.
What?
What are you doing here? I don't know. Well, you're clearly at the hospital.
Are you this child's relative? No, I'm just worried about the child. Let me see them.
That's right. I find it peculiar the child would be put in intensive care. He's not. Isn't intensive care, Dom, usually for people who need things like
intensive
care, like they're going to stop breathing or have a heart attack or that kind of stuff. It doesn't tend to be for a disturbed child psychotically.
Intensive care, at least in my experience, is where you go when you're no longer an emergency, but you need extensive monitoring because you're on the verge of becoming an emergency again.
Yeah. James, I'm here to see the creepy child.
This is a pediatric ward, ma'am. Why are you here? I shouldn't be dealing with you.
I like the fact as well, they're just sat in the dispensary, as it says on the door. So all the medication and everything, they're just sat in there. Even in most hospitals, the dispensary is a holy of holies room. No one gets in there without keys and security, etc.
Well, dispensaries mean something very different now.
Yes.
Especially here in sunny Las Vegas.
Yes. But that's basically the pharmacy room she's in, where all the medication is kept. You don't just wander in there in a hospital.
That and the bog rolls.
Mm-hmm.
We always keep them together with the meds. Oh, it's sad that kids now will know Freddy Krueger but not King Kong.
Well, they do,
like,
you know.
Do you mean Kong?
Well, there is King Kong, but it's maybe not the kind of... It's the Godzilla King Kong.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I genuinely forgot those films exist.
Yeah, there you
go. What? Is there an alien? Is E.T. nearby that's sucking his life force? Well, I
Well,
guess
the fact
he
is,
is,
he's
isn't
in an
he?
oxygen tent that's not properly zipped up as well.
It's the loose one. It's all right,
On
they're
a
not the
heart
B team
monitor.
on tonight.
But he's not sedated. What the hell is going on in this hospital? I don't understand. Don't get me wrong, I like this film, but some of this stuff, the real world stuff, doesn't make a lot of sense. Why would he be hooked up to heart monitors and things if he'd not had some kind of an emergency and in an oxygen tent unless his blood oxygen levels were extremely low?
The thing is, I
And
never
you
questioned this at all when I watched it last, but
and you
now
usually
I'm
they only well usually as well they only put them in an oxygen tent if there's a reason why they can't wear the mask. Ah, thank you, James. It's because he's undead from Pet Cemetery. His child flesh is decaying. Okay, that's creepy.
Oh God. Oh. Oh. What kind of ichor has been?
I don't know. Quick, get him out of the oxygen tent. It isn't going to work.
How did you get in here?
Again, if you're taking him downstairs for further testing and you have the need for him to be in an oxygen tent, you take him on the whole bed with portable oxygen.
Yeah, you would. That's why the beds have wheels on them, so you can just take them out.
Yeah.
We are a very incompetent hospital who put kids that are totally fine in oxygen tents in the
Oxygen
ICU,
tents,
but
yeah.
we're fine. Oh, does she have a wisp of grey in her hair now? I didn't.
Yeah. She's starting to get a whisper of grace. She's turning into Nancy, isn't she? Yeah, Sharon, I think we can agree medical accuracies are lacking somewhat. You see, though, I don't think it would have hurt to have put the child in a psychiatric hospital as a plot for the film. There we go, properly going grey now.
Yeah. Oh.
She keeps not bringing Rex to the hospital.
It slips the mind. You can tell her to sod off and take your kid home.
Yeah, but they're psychiatric episodes.
They
in
are.
In a medical hospital, as in a... Edward, that's harsh, but true.
There's no visiting hours, and I'm not family. I'm definitely going to be able to stay here.
As the thing as well, I would do in a treatment room, I would leave a bunch of unsupervised people in who are psychotically disturbed in a treatment room with unlocked cabinets full of medicine like they've got on the walls.
Yep.
Nothing has ever gone wrong leaving someone unsupervised in a room full of medication.
Oh, look, she's got a visitor badge on her.
Exactly, James. The hospital's just adding to the bill right now. No, they're going to send the mom to the psychiatric hospital, but not the kid.
Why is it the dispensary again? Is that the hospital jail? We're going to make the child go to sleep now.
That's right. Leave them unsupervised in a room full of syringes and what appears to
X-rays.
be. Oh, and also that's bottles of medication that are
And
sedative.
hypodermics.
And hypodermics. What could go wrong?
And random drips. What's on those drips?
Yeah.
What happened in this room?
The one thing I would say as well, I don't know if you noticed about these movies compared to reality, Dom, they always use a substantially larger syringe than they use in reality. They always use basically the ones they would use for flushing things out. Because they don't look as intimidating on camera.
She's the best babysitter in the freaking world.
Oh, it's a good point. Shattered trousers. We might go with that. Do you think the medical inaccuracies could be attributed to early stages of reality overlapping with Freddy's make-believe realm? The hospital is becoming a dreamlike interpretation of itself. Possibly.
That's a very good way of explaining a couple of mistakes.
Yes.
I love that idea. That's actually genius.
Hang on. The dispensary's got a giant curtain separating rooms in it.
It's hospital jail. What do you expect?
Did you smoke the marijuana?
Did you inject the weeds directly into your eyeballs? You are under hospital arrest, ma'am. You are not allowed to leave.
Welcome, Black Panther has joined us.
Hello.
And Kelsey says reefer madness, yes. Did you smoke the drugs around your boy?
He's suffering from what we call the reefer madness.
Okay, they're now worrying, where would you get the keys for the room? Well, you seem to leave everything in that room you've locked them in on display.
It's the room that has everything in it.
Yes. Hang on. Does a paediatric doctor usually talk about taking the child into foster care?
Not a good one, no!
Is this not the work of a social worker? That is a great look for Freddy, though.
It is. It is a very nice fedora that he's wearing there. Yes, they're X-rays. They say you have several tumours and fractures everywhere.
Yeah, James Haley says, I'd keep the keys to the dispensary in the dispensary. Clearly your son is involved in this woman levitating in the room.
Your son is what we call here a brujeria. So we're going to have to... Your son's a witch. We're going to have to exorcise him.
We're just going to flay his skin off for a few hours.
Nurse Ratchet, set the pyre alight. It's time.
But I would say this is much more of a return to the Freddy of the original Nightmare on Elm Street as opposed to the comedic Freddy of which we know. And this is obviously a tribute to the infamous death in the original movie. Welcome, Lucifer Morningstar.
Satan's here? Hello.
Your child stuck his nanny to the ceiling of the room. It is a great death.
It was. Your son's a monster.
We think he may be telekinetic.
He's clearly developing psychokinetic powers. And he has a murderous streak. Here's a rabbit's foot.
Exactly, James. All the cleaning will really add to it. She's being charged for the cleaning of that room. The sanitization. That's going on her bill.
The janitor's just like, oh.
Oh, welcome Wendy Ayres as well. Welcome. John's wife's like, John, are you having an affair with Heather?
Why is Heather Langenkamp calling you at like 3 a.m.?
Exactly. We're all good, thank you, Lucifer. We're watching Wes Craven's New Nightmare and enjoying it thoroughly. You know that home isn't far from here. Cross the scary freeway.
That's fine.
Look, last time you crossed the road, kid, near a truck, this didn't go well for you. Is this his second life
thinking.
Is this his second life in Frogger he's going through now?
Absolutely no one on the streets there are like...
Well, actually, she's calling Kruger a bastard here, but he's actually saving the child's life.
Yeah, he is.
By this child levitating across the freeway. I'll let that be full of liquid nitrogen.
Just crashes into a T-1000 somewhere.
That's right. Yeah, we're all enjoying the movie. Oh! It's Nancy from Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, God.
Sharon says, at any point does anyone call 911? This is California and LA, I believe, Sharon. So this is like standard. Police don't get...
Yeah, this is normal. Besides, they've all been called to the hospital because someone broke out of hospital jail.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Exactly, James. At 55 miles an hour, she'd probably be dead. But no, she's grazed.
They went at 45 miles an hour, so they were fine.
Dylan?
Are the oranges on the floor? Inquiring minds need to know.
Are the oranges there, and have they moved?
I broke into your house. You had to get Rex because you failed to get Rex 3 times. Why do you look like you've been hit by a car?
Yeah, broke out of hospital without paying.
They send you the bill in the mail, it's fine. They'll get you one way or another.
Mad Matt raises a good point. Is Freddy protecting Dylan because he wants to inhabit the child? I think Dylan is kind of his vessel. So is this a bit like... Oh, Nancy, let's go outside.
Yep.
He just said. So is this maybe going to be a Nightmare on Elm Street type 2 thing? We're going to see the child start sweating and ripping his hair off in a minute.
Potentially. I do like how that Nancy, let's go outside was subtly done. And because you've heard the name Nancy so many times, and we, as the audience, expect Heather Langenkamp to be Nancy, it doesn't quite...
Nancy.
Doesn't quite hit until then, and then it's
Yeah.
like, oh.
Oh, and now he's in a cop uniform.
Yeah.
He died in 3D.
This is when John's wife turns up. I knew you were having an affair.
Having an affair.
Or John's daughter turns up. I knew you were someone else's dad.
Yeah. This is like some weird role-playing stuff they've got now. If his wife, like I say, if his wife comes over there, she dresses up as your daughter from the movie, and you pretend to be a cop. What's going on?
This is the weirdest. Oh no, he doesn't have generic sci-fi wallpaper. He has generic Western wallpaper with
cowboys and
the ending of the dinosaurs on the wall. Is he now driving a cop car?
Yeah, well, she's now in the pajamas.
I too gently slap my significant others when I say goodbye to them.
Oh, now we get the music.
It is good music.
Yeah.
I think that the soundtrack has slowly become more and more synthy. Like at the beginning, when I was saying it was very romantic and like 90s romance movie kind of soundtrack, and even the way the shots were composed. Now it's becoming more of a horror film. Even the cameras seems to have changed. It's becoming more steady cam.
I like the fact that. Oh, thank you, Lucifer. Have a great day yourself. I like the fact that the film, it's been a bit of a long build-up to where we are now. But now we've got what we want. We've got a Nightmare on Elm Street film. Turn the damn telly off.
My son's chewable methadone.
That's right. Just keep popping them as you go along.
Yeah. Just...
and you're there crawling along your face by the end of it. This is going to look really bad if social services come round that her child's sleep medication is now just randomly dropped around the house. Yeah. The bedroom, the house is just a mess. The bedding's all ripped.
Yeah.
When Diaz says 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. Horror fan 3, 4. Better lock your door.
Oh no.
Yep, claw marks in the wall.
Rex.
Not Rex. No.
The only death we're all saddened by.
Yeah. I thought she was going to turn off the nightlight to save electricity.
Yeah, right?
I thought she was going to...
The portal to hell's at the bottom of his bed.
Look, Nancy, you've got a knife. Just rip that sheet. The rest of them in your house are all ripped. You may as well make it the same.
Exactly. Get a set together.
No, it's been in his mouth. That's gross.
And the floor. The floor isn't grosser?
Yeah, I know, his mouth and the floor. And probably his child's sweaty pocket and hands.
Oh.
Okay, Nancy, you're maybe going to go over the... Heather, you're maybe going to go over the prescribed dose of this medication.
Now she has to wait 45 minutes for it to kick in.
Yeah. She doesn't actually realise they're laxatives rather than sedatives.
Oh, God.
And this just goes really wrong.
Actually, yeah, he was in hospital for a bit. What does he have, like 5,000 pills? That looks fun.
That looks a lot of fun.
Okay, it's looking like
not
less
so
fun
much.
now.
Yeah, the roots whipping you in the face. Yeah, Mad Matt Breadcrumbs callback, because he learned this from... that would be a cool painting to have.
Yeah.
But he learned this, of course, because she read him Hansel and Gretel, didn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Earlier in the movie. Which Mad Matt says the breadcrumb callback. Well, Sharon's saying, how many pills did they give Dylan? That's like a pharmacy. Well, it looks like everyone just had access to the dispensary and all the medication in that hospital to get what they wanted. Anyone could just... It was like pick and mix at the cinema.
Yeah, you get one of those scoops.
Big scoop of just tablets, yeah. Lizardman saying, should you still call her Heather? She's currently playing role. Well, no, she's Heather still, but some people see her as Nancy. Sharon saying she's now badass Nancy. I still think that Alice is better than Nancy, and that's a hill I'll die on. Alice would have sorted this out by now.
In the YouTube chat, we've got Horror Fan and Wendy reciting the nursery
rhyme, yeah,
in its entirety, and that's one of the powers that Freddy has in comparison to like Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers. Even the Cenobites from Hellraiser, they're all iconic in their own rights, but Freddy has lore. He has this big, expansive thing, which lends a surreal, almost not nursery rhyme, sorry, like fairy tale-y horror to him, which pulls him from the realms of just cinematic horror into real life. You can recite this to people and they would know what you're talking about. Two people in the chat have just recited it without knowing who each other are, I assume. Could be the best of friends or neighbors for all I know, but it's wonderful that can be pulled. And just say that nursery rhyme to pretty much anyone. I'm pretty sure people will know the nursery rhyme. It's modern folklore, and I love it. I love to see it happen.
Oh. I think Part 2 is a decent Elm Street movie, and I think people are too harsh on it, James.
I agree.
Oh, Wendy, what are our favourite horror movies? Well, we'll ask that for... you can certainly ask that amongst the YouTube chat, and I'm sure our Discord community will have plenty of answers. For me, The Night on Elm Street is my favourite series, are my favourite horror movies.
For me, rather boring, but The Thing is my favourite horror film.
And you love Extro.
Oh, of course. Extro is...
Oh, look at this. He's got a thing about stabbing people in the lower legs, hasn't he?
Apparently so. He goes for the ankles.
This child actor's good, but he has some weird range, doesn't he? He likes movies where he crosses in front of trucks and stabs people in the ankles with knives.
like that. You can ask him, how many movies have you traversed like trucks and slashed ankles?
Ah, you're no fun.
Pet Sematary is also a great movie.
Yeah.
The water's on fire.
No fair. Shattered Trousers enjoys Ginger Snaps, and James likes The
Ooh.
Exorcist.
Ginger Snaps is also amazing. I'm surprised there hasn't been a Freddy film from the perspective of a kid.
Well, what's quite interesting is some of the comments on the YouTube community here are, we've got two of the movies, The Exorcist and Jaws, which are both in the schedule for this year at some point.
Yes, they are. We will be watching both of those movies. So come back for us when those are going to be announced.
Oh, there we go. Anthony Galattis, you got a bit supporter, Dom.
Extra? Yes!
And Sharon enjoys Hellraiser.
Hellraiser's another great one. We have another Extra fan. That makes at least 7.
Oh, I wish I wasn't wearing my headphones for that bit. Plutonium, sure. The movie is coming up to the last sort of 10 minutes or so of it. However, you can always catch up with us later on YouTube. Potentially, James, potentially.
Another callback to
Yeah.
the first film.
Ooh. Well, Plutonium Short, we're always here at the same time every week. It's always on a Sunday night at 8:30 p.m. UK time, whatever that is in your local time zone. You'll always find us here.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Oh.
Ugh. It's the slow burn, the I'm going to slowly consume you like a snake vibe. It's bleh.
Yeah.
Oh, look. There's
exactly,
a snake.
exactly, Lizard Man. So many callbacks with this last act. They were saving all the references for when reality broke down. Oh. Oh. Mad Nat saying, why does this more serious version of Freddy go all Looney Tunes at the end? I don't know. I guess it's harking back to stuff from the film, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Yeah, I like to think if I was a horror movie villain, I'd be serious and frightening. The reality is I'd probably be more like a Looney Tunes Freddy than anything.
No, it's not really supposed to be Freddy that we're seeing at the moment, is it? It's like a dream demon taking the form of Freddy. So I suppose in this form of Freddy, he's got Freddy's weaknesses, but he's influenced and maybe he's drawing on some of their fears and things. But that's a cool effect with the split tongue.
Yeah.
Now we see him as we see the demon stuff with some shonky 90s computer morphing going on there.
And of course, much like every Resident Evil game, the lair was rigged to explode.
Oh, it always is.
Water won't save you. It goes on fire. Look, it's still on fire.
Exactly. It's...
Is that
Now you sell the house
awful?
and move.
Yeah. How is it the only thing that survived in the entire room is that damn Humpty Dumpty thing?
Well, I've got to say, I would never sleep in that bed again. Nor permit my child to sleep in that bed ever again.
Nah.
It's a bit of a weird ending kind of twist.
For sure.
Like,
I have to say, I do hate the formatting of screenplays.
James, potentially we would. I can't promise anything, but potentially, yeah. So he's going to read. She's reading the story of his father's death.
Everyone's favorite bedtime story.
I don't think this is in Parenting 101 for the loss of a parent. Read the fictionalized story of your father's death to the child, of the child's death.
Spoilers, Dad dies.
Yeah. Okay, everybody, that was Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which I think is a great movie. Very different as Elm Street movies go.
Mm.
And I'm enjoying this remix of the Elm Street theme.
I was about to say, this is funky.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with Mr. Furs, though. Very meta, interesting direction to revitalise a franchise, but the pacing of this flick is a little slow. I think it could be tightened up a bit, and there could be some bits to be sped up a bit. I mean, let's go through this. We'll take the response from the comments from Discord and YouTube members. Okay, horror fan, you stay safe, and we'll see you soon. I think it's a great film, but I would have liked a couple of things. I would have liked would have been things I mentioned during the film. I would like the child to have been in a psychiatric hospital because that would have just made a bit more sense. And I would have liked Robert Englund to be arrested, or like a plot thread of him being a suspect.
Yeah. I agree. I think it's a very good film. I think it does a lot of things very well, a lot of things very subtly as well. The soundtrack changing slowly as the film goes on is nice and subtle. I think that would be lost on quite a lot of the audience.
Yeah.
And I love John Saxon though. He's awesome. I'm happy to see him again in a Freddy film.
Mm-hmm. Just to say to everyone that if you like meta stuff, we have got Scream later this year. Thank you, Anthony Galattis, who's saying thank you for the Nightmare Fuel, and you'll see us in the next one. Okay, let's go through some of your comments, which are Sharon, that was fantastic. Great play of real and fantasy, melding as one. Fraglord, I like meta, so I like this one. Lizman, God, I love this movie. I just love any film that looks meta aspects of storytelling and genre conventions. Chaosphere had been quite a while since I'd seen it. It was a good refresher and solid nightmare film. Mad Matt, lame, tedious, and low body count. I respect that. I respect you for saying that, actually, because I can see that it's a bit of a slow burner in parts. Calbot, one of my favourite nightmare movies. Eric, it's a really great ending for the Freddy movies, a real original story and a way to end it all. Jedi Wizard, it's always great going back to this one. It gets the thought of Freddy's dead out your mind. That's true. That's true.
It's a good palate cleanser.
That's right. Okay, and James says it's not the same level as Screenplays. Oh, Pep Janan, you're saying what movie next? Well, we're taking a break for a week or so from horror, and we're going back to fantasy. But there's a bit of horror in this fantasy movie. We are going to be watching Conan the Destroyer.
Yeah.
Which I'm looking forward to. But I'm going to announce this because it's quite far out. I've made one of my executive decisions, and on the 5th of November...
Remember.
The 5th of November, we are going to jump forward several years because we can't leave a good guy down. We're going to watch Freddy versus Jason in November.
Yay.
First movie of November. Because why not? Hey, let's get back to some fun Freddy. But like I say, next week we will be back with some fantasy and Conan the Destroyer. So everybody, please stay safe, be kind to each other, and don't have nightmares. And we will see you in 7 days' time. So everybody, good night.
Good night.